I pulled some hand planes off the shelf to use them, and I noticed I need to do a little work. I've got some rust developing here. I've got some sort of debris on the toe of the plane, and to be honest, I'm not sure what condition the iron is in at this point, so I want to go ahead and hone that up while we're at it. This is a low-angle jack plane where the blade is installed with the bevel up. So the first thing I like to do is disassemble the plane. And I think for this one, that's as far as I need to go with it. I went to the hardware store and I bought an inexpensive synthetic bristle brush, and it works great for getting dust and debris out of the recesses of the plane. Gives me a clean start. Now when I do my inspection, I look at the bed of the plane, and I've got one little tiny spot of rust down here that doesn't really concern me. And then you see that I've got, maybe you can't see, I've got a little rust on the shaft of the adjustment knob. So I'll go ahead and take that adjuster out. And this is called a Norris style adjuster. And I'll just take some non-abrasive or non-woven abrasive and wrap it around that shaft and work it a little bit just to remove the rust. And that's already shiny. And I had a little rust up here on the boss that engages the blade for depth adjustment. So I'll make that nice and clean as well. And while I'm at it, I might as well address that little bit of rust on the bed of the plane. And with just a few strokes, that's taken care of. So now if I look at the body of the plane, I've got some rust on the sides here. So I'll use my abrasive to work that out. I had a little stubborn piece here. That may actually be a little bit of pitting. What you can do is you could take a lubricant with your abrasive and just kind of go at it, and the lubricant sometimes removes. If it's an adhesive or anything like that, a solvent or a lubricant like WD-40 should do a good job of removing it. And it did, surprisingly. I got that nice and clean. A little bit up here yet. So then I'll go to the bottom, and same scenario there. Just work it back and forth. Looks like I may have tried to plane something where the glue wasn't quite set up yet, and I've got some residue on the front and back of this sole of the plane. Now this plane has been around for quite a few years, so I'm not going to be terribly upset if I can't get this looking like new. All I'm concerned about is removing the active rust that's going on and trying to prevent future rusting. So right here I've got some staining that I doubt I'll be able to get out, but we can certainly try. And that's not going to completely remove it, but it's certainly better than it was. Then I go up here to the toe of the plane, and it looks like I've got quite a bit of glue residue. Again, that little bit of lubricant or solvent can help dissolve that. Then I'm using a coarse non-woven abrasive pad. Does a really good job of removing any sort of schmutz on the sole of the plane. Okay, so you can see I still have a little staining, but I've gotten most of the debris off. And then I turn my attention to the other side of the plane and treat it the same way. Every once in a while, especially during the winter months when I'm not so active in the shop, I'll just come out to the shop and pull my hand planes down and give them a once over, make sure they're nice and clean and ready to go. And then as you're working on a project, sometimes you'll pull a plane off the shelf like I did here and realize that didn't really take care of it before I put it away. Now I need to put some work into it to get it functioning properly again. And you'll notice I've got some staining on the iron here, and again, it doesn't affect the functionality, but my obsessive compulsive disorder makes me want to take that off. Now this is a plane made by Veritas, sold by Lee Valley in Canada, and they do a really nice job of flattening their plane irons before they assemble the plane. So when you get the plane, there's not a whole lot of work that needs to be done. So that edge seems relatively sharp. I drag my thumbnail along, I don't feel any chips or nicks. But I'm still going to take leather strop, charge it with some honing compound, and give it a few strokes on that. And then if there's any burr on the back, I just put the plane flat down on the hone and straight back to remove that burr. I think that's pretty much ready to go. And again, this is a bevel up plane, low angle plane, meaning the iron rides at a lower angle than a standard plane. I'm going to use a little rust preventative on those components and give the bed of the plane a nice soaking and reassemble that. Then I can come in here, wipe off the excess. And same with the plane iron. Just give it a good soaking, good coating. And here I want to engage the hole of the blade on that boss of the adjuster that I showed earlier. And now we can reassemble the cap. I think this is ready to go.